Hi, I'm Peter Birch, and this week we're going to have a close look at some of these beautiful Australian reptiles with really unusual scales. Welcome to CritterCam. Now, some of these species of Australian skinks, like Agonias, nearly all exhibit these spiny scales to some degree. None more so than the Depressor. These beautiful creatures are basically covered from spines from head to toe and all the way to the tip of the tail as well. So it goes down their legs. And I mean, like I said before, one can only speculate that these beautiful creatures that inhabit rocky outcrops would actually crawl inside a rock crevice, inflate their bodies, which makes them very difficult to pull out, even for a predator to try and remove. But it definitely makes them feel very much at home. And I mean, this little guy is just sticking in there, and you can see that spiny tail. It's definitely very spiky. All those layers of keratin, I mean, they're so prehistoric looking. You can imagine what a dinosaur would have been covered with. So one of the monitors that comes to mind when we're talking about raised scales or spines is obviously the spiny-tailed monitor. I mean, the Varanus acanthurus definitely exhibits exactly what we've been speaking about. These enlarged, thickened scales, especially down the tail here. Now, no one really knows the reason why they have these thickened scales or enlarged spines, but there's a lot of theories floating around. One is that with these lizard species, they can go into the crevices of rocks and sort of inflate their bodies slightly, and because they go in quite easy and coming backwards is very difficult, they actually act like an anchor inside there, stopping the removal of the animal, which sort of sounds about right. But another theory is that they actually use it for defense. I mean, you can imagine an animal trying to eat this guy, gets a mouthful of spines by grabbing that tail. He may let go. I find that very unlikely. But the true reason why these guys having large spines is really irrelevant. They're absolutely spectacular animals. And I mean, all the way down their body, they definitely have raised, thickened, keratin-like substances, which we know that most reptiles are covered in scales, which are the closest thing I guess we have as humans is fingernails. It covers their whole body, making them armor-proof, waterproof, and sometimes just outright gorgeous looking critters. Other theories behind scales or enlarged scales is to actually increase surface area. You can imagine if these were solar panels and they were flat, they could only absorb a certain amount of area. But once you make it three-dimensional and add texture to it, you're now increasing the surface area without actually increasing the size of the animal. That's pretty good, especially if you're a reptile and you need the heat from the sun to be absorbed into your body so that you can get up every morning, go out and hunt for food and run from predators. I think that might have something to do with it as well. Well, check this guy out here. He's probably the most well identified animal across the world. It's the Centralian bearded dragon, we call them here in Australia, or the Pagona vidiceps, the most well-known lizard across the world. I mean, more of these lizards are bred in captivity per capita, and in some countries more than cats and dogs. These guys make the greatest of pets and have really changed the way that I guess normal people view reptile keepers. These things are so amenable as handling, and they really do make great pets. They eat a lot of vegetable matter, so it really makes a good role model for the kids, making sure you eat all your veggies and grow big and strong, just like Jack here. Now, there are a few mutations around, especially in the bearded dragons, which remove the texture or the spines on their back, known as leatherback, so it's removing or reducing the scales. And then we actually have the other form, which are called the silkbacks, which basically removes all the spines, all the enlarged keratinous sort of substances, and almost gives it a skin-like feel. It's very unusual and very weird, but one can only imagine by reducing the scales, you're reducing its ability to defend itself against excess UV, and also you can imagine the amount of moisture loss that they must get, because like I said before, scales are like a keratin. It stops moisture getting in, it also stops moisture being sucked out. So you could only imagine that if the scales were removed, that those animals would be more susceptible to water loss. They're absolutely gorgeous, just like Jack here. Beautiful critter. And I mean, he's a leatherback, so he's got the reduced scales down the back and the reduced spines down the side. I mean, still a gorgeous creature. It's sort of a weird mutation, but it's absolutely, he's an absolutely funny little fellow. He's giving me the look. He's well known to give a little bit of a nip occasionally, so I've got to watch that. So I guess as an Australian, the most spectacular out of the Australian pythons would be the rough scale pythons. Rough scales by name, rough scales by nature. They definitely have the keeled scales, just like some of the other lizards that we spoke about today, giving it that rough scale appearance and feeling. And I mean, these beautiful creatures are absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I mean, they've got big chunky heads, big spiky teeth. But I mean, with the scales themselves, I mean, one can only still speculate why they have these large scales. There's a lot of belief that because of the area that these guys come from, that they inhabit a lot of the rock from the area they come from, they inhabit a lot of these rocky outcrops that enables them to be able to move through the rock and also use it for gripping. But there again, it's only on the back, not on the belly. So one would just think that they're hanging out in the rock crevices just like this. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's show, talking about some of our Australian reptiles that have some really interesting skin structures, just like this beautiful rough scale here. Make sure you hit us up on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And don't be afraid to leave a comment below. We love to get feedback from you beautiful guys out there. Until next time, thanks for watching Critter Cam.